So the big Phasmo update, where it's gonna be a whole reset for the update and how the game is working, is right around the corner. It said that it's gonna be out about 2 weeks into August, and that's right now basically. So today I'm gonna just read through all the developer previews, try and explain to the best of my capabilities what is going to be actually changing. So the biggest part of this whole update is of course the level resetting. So what it means by that is, as it says there, they are wiping everything. All the levels you had, if you had an account before this update, will be taken back down to 0. And from there on, they will start with a prestige update, where after 100 levels you can prestige, and then from prestige and you will probably get some kind of item, but you also get the ability to not prestige, but you have a limit of level 999, if that's correct. But aside from the big level resetting, they are changing how most of the equipment is working. So how this tier system is gonna work for if you want to get a better equipment. How they are making it to be is you start with tier 1, of course, on everything, and then based on what level you are getting, you can unlock to buy to tier 2. Seeing as even if you were not that level, I don't think you would even have the money to actually be able to upgrade. But how they are making it seem is, when you want to upgrade to tier 2, there's a base set of money that is quite expensive that will unlock tier 2. But after you have unlocked it, the price of the item will be the same as the price of the item for tier 1 of the same item. So how they are showing as an example is the fact that the EMF reader always costs $45, regardless of the tier. So if you are reaching level 20 and you have the option to upgrade from tier 1 to tier 2, you pay a bigger price for tier 2, but after you have paid that price, the initial price of the upgrade, it will start costing $45 every time. The dots projector, the one that you place either on the floor or on the wall, that will give the green little light that will show if the ghost has the dots evidence. So tier 1 is like a small flashlight that you will walk around that will emit this little green light, and if the ghost walks through it, it will give you the dots. And the tier 2 is the one that we have right now. It's the one that is in the game that you can put on the floor or on the wall or whatever that you would want to place it. And then tier 3 is a very big projector scanning that scans the whole room in large. As you can see on this little preview here, it will move from side to side to glow up the whole room, and is most likely going to be the most effective if the ghost doesn't want to be moving in the exact same spot or the exact spot where you place the dots. One of the biggest updates that is probably going to take a long time for most people to get used to is how the freezing temperatures are going to work now. So right now in the game, before this whole big update, if you saw freezing breath at all, you would just immediately be prone to expect it is freezing temperatures, meaning that it's below 0 degrees Celsius. Now they are changing it so that if you see freezing breath particles, you cannot immediately say that is a freezing breath or freezing temperatures, as they now change it so any room between 5 and 7 degrees Celsius or below will give you the cold breath particles. Tier 1 of the thermostat is really wonky. I would recommend not to have this for the longest time. So Basically, what they did with this one is they took the little thermostat that your grandma has on the wall to show how warm it is. You have to leave the thermostat in a room, do something else, and then come back and check it. So tier 2 is going to be somewhat the exact same as we have right now. And the difference is that it has a little scanning device right here that takes a little while to like upload, with seeing how much degrees are actually in the room. You cannot just go very fast from room to room and have a very different reading from every single step you go from. And then tier 3 is a direct upgrade from tier 2, about the speed of how fast it calculates the degrees are way faster. The EMF reader is the tier 1 is an old analog meter, basically. It's very not accurate at all. It's not one that I would recommend being stuck on for the longest. The equipment is reasonably quiet. It doesn't scream as much as the one we have right now. But if it is actually EMF5, this little needle here will be blaring up in this little thing. So you will see if it's EMF5, but it's not very accurate. The tier 2 is the one that we have right now in the game that screams at you when it does go up in the EMF levels. Tier 5 or tier 3. It's a beast of an item, as it seems. It will allow you to scan the EMF for 3 individual rooms at once. Ultraviolet is what they are changing the name of fingerprints to become. What I mean by this is they are changing how the fingerprints and footsteps are working like entirely. And they are changing it now to be the fact that you have to charge up the fingerprints in a way, as you can show here. You have to charge it up so that it will actually show you the fact that it has the fingerprints, and when you take away the UV light after some slow time, it will start to disappear. But beside fingerprints, they are also changing how the footsteps work. And if you don't know how to get the footsteps, is if you put down a salt pile, but I'm gonna go back to that after. The tier 2 is the UV flashlight that we have in the game right now. You can choose a defined spot on a wall to charge up, and then you can take the picture and do whatever you want. Tier 3 is basically just a huge tier 2 flashlight, just with a much bigger radiance, and it will charge up the fingerprints way faster than it does. Now they're changing it now that these footprints like this will only show up if it has the ultraviolet evidence. So seeing as in some rooms, in some maps, there is very few doors that a ghost can interact with, which will give it very hard for you to be able to get the ultraviolet / fingerprints evidence. So now they're changing it to the footprints are being the exact same. So if you don't have any doors or very few interaction spots, you can put the salt down, and if it gives you these type of footprints, it has the ultraviolet evidence. On tier 1, you get this little canister as we have in the game now, with only 2 salt piles per canister. And we can bring 3 canisters into every contract. Tier 2 is actually very insane. It's a barrel of Himalayan salt, pink Himalayan salt according to the preview, which will give a large pile that is equivalent of the same size of a door frame. So if you want to know if a ghost has roamed out of the ghost room that you have found, you can just put a whole salt pile right in front of the door, which is kind of insane. And the larger capacity has you able to place 3 piles of this huge salt pile that will You can just put all the way across the door. And tier 3 is actually kind of insane from what this is understanding. It gives you a bottle of black salt that is apparently to be blessed. And if a ghost during its passive state walks through that salt, it will be repelled to go back and basically trap the ghost in its ghost room. But during a hunting state, you can also use this salt. If it goes through the salt, it will slow down. You can make it go back into being a Diogen's speed, basically. And the tier 1 is a very small device that makes it so that you put on special headphones in the game, muffling the outside world, and you can move around and try and like find where the ghosts are making sounds. Tier 2 is the one that we have right now in the game that will show you a small display on how much decibels the ghosts are making sounds of. Tier 3, the one that I'm the most excited for, the one that I need, is it has a display camera right here that will show you exactly what room the ghosts are making a noise in. But the latest and last developer preview that they showed us is the update to the video cameras. So right now, video cameras are little camera that you can put on a tripod and then place it in a room, and then it just stands in the room, and then you can basically become a little dweller in the camping or in the van to see if it has orbs or dots or whatnot. So right now they are making tier 1 being this very little camera with a very small display of a green. You really have to have good eyesight if you want to look into this small little square of where it will show you what you are looking at through the camera. Tier 2 is the one that we have right now in the game. It's a very bigger display camera for it, but not too much more. Tier 3, I don't know, it has a way larger body, as you can see. Very much more equipment, it seems. And it will give you a much clearer video feed and less interference from the ghost. Updating how the tripods work. So tier 1, it's a little rough plastic legs that it's a little tripod. I think that those are the exact tripods that we have right now in the game. Oh, okay. Yeah, so tier 2 is a small featured motorized attachment where you can place the video camera and then go back to the truck and rotate your video camera without the fact that the ghost might be lurking and jumping around. Which is gonna be kind of cool, actually. There are some rooms that is very big, where you have maybe had to place in 2 video cameras to be able to actually look over the whole room. It's gonna be very nice, honestly. Very cool. And the tier 3 has the same motorized attachment, but the tripod is being much sturdier, probably stands way more still and can take more ghost interference, I think, maybe. Yes, it features sturdier mounts, and is almost impossible to be knocked over by the ghost. That is the last developer preview of what we are to be expecting, what is coming from the big Prestige update that is right around the corner. They said it was going to be 2 weeks into August. Today it's basically 2 weeks of August. Today, as I'm recording it, it's the 14th of August. But you can expect when this update goes live, I'm going to be over on my Twitch channel. I'm most likely going to stream this, maybe with some friends, maybe just alone, but we're going to be exploring every single new thing that is happening in the game. And I'm very excited, and if you want to check it out, you can press the link down below. I will link to my Twitch channel if you want to see it. And I'm very excited for this big update, and I hope you are also excited.